Who would have bet that the Dallas Mavericks would win the 2011 NBA ring? Or on the international stage, who would have bet that Pau Gasol-less Spain could become world champions in the 2019 World Cup? Basketball tournaments always have their degree of unpredictability, and some dark horse teams pull off upsets in ways that go down in the history books for sports eternity. Although in Australia's case, it's true that they are not two dark horses. The Aussies have a roster full of players who are on NBA squads, totaling 10 players in the best league in the world. Although it is true that their depth of interior players is not too strong, the American coach Brian Goorjian's team has a multitude of options for the perimeter positions that will allow them to play small and cause problems to virtually all opponents during the World Cup. Dyson Daniels and Josh Giddey represent a spectacular point guard duo at 6'8", who also have great potential to lead Australia going forward in future tournaments. In addition, players like Patty Mills or Joe Ingles will offer their experience in both NBA and international basketball to lead a team that can achieve everything. Other players such as Dante Exum or Matisse Thybulle will also offer a defensive profile that will allow turnovers and ball movement issues from their opponents. Although it is true that the Aussies could have some problems against opponents who have dominant bigs in the paint, even with the absence of Ben Simmons, who has shown his desire to be part of the team but is not exactly in the best moment of his career, Australia has managed to form a solid block of players that should have no problems to reach the final stages of the championship. However, their lack of regular success in FIBA competitions, added to the enormous difficulty of their Group E having to face Germany, Finland, or Japan, will give problems to a team that has not yet finished clicking. Bookmaker odds plus 900. Third. If Australia makes it past the first group stage, they will have to face Luka Doncic's Slovenia, a team that, unlike Australia, will only have the Dallas Mavericks superstar as a member of the NBA. The absence of Goran Dragic will be an issue for a squad used to playing with him, although his brother Zoran will be there. In fact, Dragic is the only player who shares team, or directly leagued with another member of the national team, the other veteran Jaka Blažić. Each player in the squad is developing his professional career in a different part of the world, which may create some adaptation problems to create a unique system and chemistry. However, Doncic's presence alone may be enough to make it compete at the highest level. In fact, Luka is probably the best basketball player going into the tournament, and we all know that his style of play makes his teammates shine. In addition, Slovenia has been lucky with the draw, as it will be part of Group F that also includes Cape Verde, Georgia, and Venezuela, and a priori easy group in which they should not have many difficulties to advance. But if they manage to do so, they will have to face the top two teams from Group E, which includes Germany, Australia, Finland, and Japan. Because in the end, if you want to win a tournament of this magnitude, you have to overcome strong opponents sooner or later. What is clear is that Luka's consistency will determine the ceiling of a squad that is, to a certain extent, in transition. Bookmaker odds plus 1,850, 7th. And we have already talked about that difficult Group E that Australia is part of. But there is a team that also has the potential to make a splash. Despite losing their all-time leading scorer, who also just joined the prestigious Hall of Fame class of 2023, Germany still has a great group of players who also have a long career ahead of them. Although the shadow of Dirk Nowitzki is very larger, Dennis Schroeder has always been a player capable of elevating his game to the highest level in FIBA competitions. He is a point guard who always plays differently when he represents his country. A player who needs the ball to produce but who is able to generate advantages continuously with the ball in his hands. Spectacular in the pick and roll, very fast, and an excellent defender at the international level. In addition, Germany will have the brothers Franz and Moritz Wagner, two players who have averaged 29 combined points per game this season, and who will be available for many years to come for Gordon Herbert. In addition, the squad includes names like Isaac Bonga or Daniel Theis, who have also spent part of their careers in the United States. But as we have said, it will not be an easy road. That group of Australia, Germany, Japan, and Lauri Markkanen's Finland can cause problems for any team to qualify, which would also have to face Slovenia in a second-round rematch. However, Germany should be disappointed if they are not able to advance to the latter stages of the tournament, having undoubtedly one of the strongest squads in all of European basketball. Bookmaker odds plus 2,500. 8th. A team that, like Slovenia, is only going to have one NBA player is Italy. However, this representation does not have much to do with the value of Luka Doncic. Simone Fontecchio, the 27-year-old who just finished his rookie season with the Utah Jazz, has only been able to play 766 minutes during the whole season. But Italy will count on other players who have been part of the best league in the world, such as Niccolò Melli or the veteran Luigi Dattomi. Italy is one of the teams that will bring more players from its domestic league to the court, with 8 players from the national team currently playing in the Italian league. In fact, 4 of them are part of the Olimpia Milano squad: Stefano Tonut, Gianpaolo Ricci, and Dattomi and Melli themselves. However, Gianmarco Pozzecco will have the complicated mission on his hands to elevate the play of a group that also does not have the greatest talent in the competition. Fortunately for the Mediterranean team, their Group A is not one of the toughest in the tournament either. Angola, the Dominican Republic, and the Philippines will be the countries they will have to overcome to reach that complicated second group stage, in which they would have to play against the members of Group B to qualify for the final stage. Bookmaker odds, plus 5,000, 11. And precisely in that Group, B is the last member of this review of the dark horses, which is none other than the Serbian national team. A squad that, despite having only 3 players in the NBA, has a lot of talent in the European elite and a great tradition to compete in international FIBA tournaments. Bogdan Bogdanovic will be one of the most lethal weapons of the squad, able to score with ease and generate play for his teammates. But the young Nikola Jokic and Filip Petrusev will allow Pezic to have youth and fresh legs ready to compete from the first moment. A group of relatively young players that includes names like Dusan Ristic, Nikola Milutino, or Marko Guduric, who despite not reaching their 30s have great experience in similar and difficult environments. Serbia won 2 consecutive gold medals at the 1998 and 2002 World Cups, but since then, they have only managed to win a silver medal at the 2014 World Cup. A group of players you can never count out, and who represent the attitude of a country where basketball is one of the most important things in life. Serbia will have to face South Sudan, China, and Puerto Rico in a group stage in which there could be some surprises, and then against 2 of the opponents in Group A. So they certainly have one of the most affordable draws of the tournament, in which Italy is probably the second best team they will cross in both group stages. Bookmaker odds, plus 1,200, 6th. Although we have already covered most of the teams that have a real chance of winning, including the dark horses that can cause more than one surprise, it is true that there are more national teams that can give a scare. Despite Giannis Antetokounmpo's injury, Greece has a very solid block of players who are part of the country's 2 superpowers, Olympiakos and Panathinaikos. In total, 7 of the 12 players in the squad are part of one of these 2 clubs, including names such as Dinos Miathalo or Kostas Papanikolaou. Lithuania, another country with a spectacular legacy in European basketball, will have players with NBA experience such as Jonas Valanciunas, Donatas Montayunas, and Mindaugas Kuzminskas, as well as Brazil, which will have Bruno Caboclo, Cristiano Felicio, Marcelino Huertas, or Raul Neto. It is very difficult to predict the results of a tournament in which every game is extremely important. The pressure is enormous, and the teams have very limited time to develop their chemistry. But if one thing is clear, it is that basketball is not a fair sport, and it is impossible to ignore the cases that occur periodically in which a complete dark horse is able to be crowned champion in a tournament. But how long before it happens again?